So one common complaint you'll hear is, oh, my favorite Pokemon cards are too expensive. Though that's usually because collectors are focusing too heavily on what everyone desires. That's why within this video, I'll be unpacking the 8 must-have Pokemon cards that you can grab right now for under 20 USD. However, before we get into this list and this video, I'm actually gifting these 2 PSA 8 Umbreon EB game stamped promos to 2 different subscribers. Now, these promos are very unique because they are only exclusive to Australia and New Zealand as they have the EB game stamp. Now, to know if you won one of these cards, if I reply to your comment with a Moonbryon emoji, then well done, you've got one of these cards getting sent your way. And also, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. My name's Phil and I create Pokemon card collecting content. Feel free to subscribe to get consistent Pokemon TCG updates. However, to kick off this list, we have the Sinistcha EX Special Illustration Rare from Twilight Masquerade. Even though the artwork is so cool, that isn't what the real selling point is for this card. It actually has far more to do with the Twilight Masquerade pull rates. Now, Twilight Masquerade Special Illustration Rares, the pull rate's around 1 in 940 packs. So this card is just as rare as the Greninja SIR. Though more so than that, right? The artwork of this card is gorgeous, right? It's actually really cool. It's kind of a pretty freaky design as well, right? And when we're looking at this, right? When we look at really difficult pull rates like what Twilight Masquerade had, right? And you can see, hey, Greninja's getting this price point, but Blood Moon Ursaluna isn't, and neither is this card either. So what's going on, right? And that's when we kind of have to do a real deep dive into these cards, into these sets. So the Sinistcha right now is at a pretty good price point. I mean, 20 bucks for a card is a pretty good steal, right? Considering how rare it is to pull, right? If it wasn't that rare to pull, it probably wouldn't be that exciting of a card. But the fact that it's difficult to pull makes it pretty exciting, right? It still is a special illustration rare. Now, moving on to number 7, we have the Pecharunt Pokemon Center exclusive promo from Shrouded Fable Pokemon Center ETBs. Now, why is this one such a good pickup at the moment? It's because it has the Pokemon Center stamp. So a lot of my audience would know about Pokemon Center products. They're a very common kind of thing people love to invest in collectibles. Now, if you are new to collecting, how this works is that there is a specific Pokemon Center promo stamp on cards that are only released in Pokemon Center boxes. Now, the reason why these are so kind of desired and everyone loves them is because you can only purchase these from Pokemon Center's official website. No one else retails these. Now, because of this, these become very kind of unique, very rare, and they're very kind of in their time period, right? And this Pecharunt is actually at a pretty good price point. Yes, I agree that maybe it's not the most exciting kind of Pokemon Center stamped promo card available, right? It's probably not even the most exciting artwork, but in terms of exclusivity, and if you do like collecting cards for exclusivity, I really don't think that there's anything wrong with this card in particular. Now, also, just as an awesome update, I've actually teamed up with Collector and we are both giving away this PSA 10 Espeon V All Art from Evolving Skies. You can enter the giveaway on my channel's Discord, which is in the video's description. Now, today's video is sponsored by the Collector app. So if you're buying some of these cards to add to your collection, one great tool is the Collector app. The Collector app is a collectible portfolio manager which stores your trading card info along with pulling in pricing data. Now, what's so cool is that Collector updates pricing data in real time as it pulls data from recently sold listings, and this means when you add your cards to the app, you can have the most up-to-date market pricing. Now, if you do decide to upgrade to Collector Pro, you do gain the ability to scan your cards with your phone's camera to easily add your collections to the app. The Pro version also unlocks the Max tab, which allows you to extend pricing data past 1 year. Feel free to learn more about Collector. All the details are within the video's description. Now, moving on to spot number 6 for great cards under 20 USD. It is the Iron Boulder Special Illustration Rare from Temporal Forces. Now, I was actually lucky enough to pull this card myself, and even though it is the lowest valued SIR from Temporal Forces, there's still a lot of reasons why I think this card is a pretty good purchase. Firstly, the main reason why this card is in such a unique position is because the Temporal Forces pull rates. So with Temporal Forces, right, to get any special illustration rare, it is 1 in 86 packs. So you can see getting an SIR ain't easy, man. It is tough work. But to get a specific special illustration illustration rare, that is 1 in 855 packs. Now that is from TCG Player, right? That is kind of when they did their data points and they referenced them, that's what we're looking at. Now Temporal Forces, to me personally, I really like the set. I think the special illustration rares are super unique. I think they're very relevant for Generation 9. I think they do a fantastic job of trapping a Pokemon set within its era. Sometimes Pokemon sets, they try to play outside of their eras, right? What I like about Temporal Forces is if you kind of pick that up, if a kid from today grew up as an adult, in 20 years they looked at Temporal Forces, they would say, wow, this is so Generation 9, man. This brings me back. And I think that's why it's such an amazing set. But in terms of Iron Boulder, I think the artwork is pretty cool. And the fact that it's so rare to pull, it is so difficult. When I saw this card in person, the texture of the artwork really looks amazing, right? And if you do like semi-affordable Pokemon cards, you can't really go wrong with this Iron Boulder special illustration rare. Now moving on to number 5, it is the Eri special illustration rare from Temporal Forces. Now this is a seriously cool trainer card, and yes, it is another Temporal Forces card, and it's another SIR that makes the list. Now here's the thing, right? Temporal Forces isn't the most expensive set, as I mentioned before, though the art within Temporal Forces is incredible, and the fact that this Eri is under 20 USD at the moment, it is a great pickup. For that reason, I think if you're going to be putting these cards in a binder, or if you're going to be like looking out for these cards for a long period of time, these are amazing cards to have in your collection, right? Collecting is getting more expensive. I did make a video talking about the 10 best Pokemon cards under 10 USD. There is a lot of cards under 10, but you know what? There's a lot of cards over 100, even over 200 US. Right now with Prismatic Evolutions cards, a lot of those cards are even approaching over 300 US. So the fact that you can find some of these cards in the market right now is good, right? And you know what? As time goes on, and I speak about this a lot, but collectibles have a weird way of appreciating. You might buy something for 20 bucks today. Cards and products just slowly appreciate over time. You don't really have to do much with them, but the fact is, you kind of do need some skin in the game. So moving on to number 4, it is the Wailord from Journey Together. Now the pull rates from Journey Together have been pretty friendly, right? Which is amazing. I mean, it's been a while since we've got a friendly kind of set with pull rates. Though this Wailord illustration rare is an incredible pickup, and it's a great artwork for any collection. We're looking at Journey Together, right? Journey Together was the first set where we had a little bit of a break point with the chaos. Because what happened was we had kind of Shrouded Fable, then we had Stellar Crown, right? Stellar Crown was like the calm before the storm, right? Because after that, we got Surging Sparks. Now, Surging Sparks was such a desired set, sold out straight away. Then, of course, we had Pokemon TCG Pocket Release. Prismatic Evolutions came out. We all know, if you don't know, Prismatic Evolutions is one of the most expensive Pokemon sets in history for a modern set. And then Journey Together came out. Though all those previous sets had very difficult pull rates, albeit Stellar Crown not so much. Whereas Journey Together, it's been quite generous with pull rates, and for that reason, a lot of these cards are at more attainable price points. When we're looking at this, right, to get any illustration rare from Journey Together is 1 in 12 packs, which is awesome, right? That's amazing pull rates. But to get a specific illustration rare, it is 1 in 129 packs. So this Wailord is definitely in a position where, you know, if you do open a lot of Journey Together, you will get illustration rares, and you know what? You've got a pretty good chance of hitting this Wailord. But for this card in any binder, I think it makes a great collectible. Now in spot number 3 for incredible cards under 20 USD, we have the Charizard V promo from the Charizard UPC. Charizard UPC released in 2022, and you could still get the product well and truly into 2024, even below retail price. But right now, it's really climbing up in price. But more interestingly, the promo cards are getting pretty expensive. Now, yes, this is under $20 at the moment, this Charizard V, but right now, this is an awesome artwork. Reason being, Charizard isn't in a combative pose. It isn't like the Gigantamax promo in the same set. This is just like Charizard laying down, kind of looking like it's just chilling near a campfire. That's a pretty cool artwork, man. And you know what? Charizard UPC ain't going to be coming on the market anymore. What's out there is what's available. And I think as time goes on, it's very likely that some of these promos will get more expensive. So this is an amazing one to add to your collection. Now, moving on to spot number 2, it is the Hisuian Lilligant V from Astral Radiance. I mean, Sword and Shield all arts don't miss, and the pull rates for these all arts are 1 in every 2 cases. So when looking at rare cards, this one is seriously hard to pull, but more so, the artwork is amazing, and it is from Astral Radiance, a very old set right now. Well, I don't know if very old set is probably the right term for Astral Radiance. I mean, it is older set, right? But in saying that, man, how cool is this artwork? It looks so amazing, and the fact that it is from an older set and it's still under 20 bucks really cool. Don't forget how rare V alternate art cards are. I speak about this a lot. I think people with all these special illustration rares and everything that's been happening, they forgot that, you know, Sword and Shield alt arts, the reason why they were so expensive was because they were really hard to pull. A lot of people buy a booster box, right? If you buy a booster box, most booster boxes I opened, I usually hit at least 2 illustration rares. That was not happening in the Sword and Shield era. Never compare a V alt art from the Sword and Shield era and think it's on the same level as an illustration rare. The fact that this V alternate art is on illustration rare prices is a steal at the moment. It is a really cool artwork. Now, yes, you can probably find a fair bit of Astral Radiance as loose packs. If you want the booster box, they are quite expensive. And I do imagine as time goes on, right, a lot of people are going to be looking back at the Sword and Shield era with very, very positive memories. It's already happening, but I can only imagine in 10 to 15 years from now what it's going to be like. Because don't forget, right, the Sword and Shield era is like the kind of the second renaissance period for Pokemon. Because what happened was, when the Nintendo Switch came about and Pokemon Sword released, first mainline game on console, this made Pokemon reach new heights. And for this reason, I do think when that kind of 15 to 20 year kind of period happens, there's going to be a lot of people who come back for these sets. Now, in spot number 1 for an incredible card to pick up for under $20, it is actually the Tatsugiri illustration rare from Twilight Masquerade. Honestly, this sushi fish is super cute, but it's more so when looking at fish Pokemon, right? Fish Pokemon are very loved, and we have super love cards like the Magikarp illustration rare already making some huge moves in the Scarlet and Violet era. So I think this artwork is really a standout. Now, right now, the price point is incredibly fair, and yes, I will admit Tatsugiri isn't as popular as Magikarp. Though as I said in this video, right, the pull rates for Twilight Masquerade have been super tough, super challenging, and when something has tough pull rates, it does help the value of the sealed product go up, and the value of singles also does go up over the long term. Now, as I said, right, Tatsugiri isn't the most loved Pokemon. It's usually Pokemon from Generation 1 that really draw in that huge fan demand, though I think it's super loved by a niche audience, and this card does make your collection look great. Though if you did love this list for cards under $20, I did actually make a list for the best Pokemon cards under 10 USD right here. Within this video on screen, I go even lower in price and cover the 10 best Pokemon cards under $10. If you love affordable Pokemon cards and you love this kind of series, click the video that's appearing on screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video.